Welcome to GOS Media. I am JL Smith. In the rural countryside during the Depression, a down-on-his-luck farmer scratched out a living by selling butter he churned from the one scrawny cow he had. Once a week, he exchanged a pound of butter for bread from the local baker, who was known to have the best bread in the county. The baker was also the only one in the county making money. Folks would trade, buy, and nearly steal to obtain bread because it filled the belly. His wealth also gave him a superiority complex. After several months of buying butter, the baker sensed something was wrong. The baker was convinced that for the last few purchases, the farmer was short-selling butter. Weighing the butter he had just bought, his suspicion was confirmed. Like butter on a hot stove, the baker's curiosity melted into anger. Get it? Butter melted into anger? Okay. Infuriated, the baker was not going to let a poor, dumb farmer cheat him, and instead of resolving the matter with the farmer, he wanted to embarrass him, so he sued the man in court. The whole town turned out for the hearing. They could not believe just how nefarious the farmer was. In fact, they piled on him, telling the prosecutor that they too were being cheated by the thieving farmer. The prosecutor was relentless in dragging the farmer through the mud. Having crushed the man's reputation, the judge turned to the farmer and asked what he had to say. Looking around at those he thought were his friends, the depressed and dejected farmer stood and faced the judge. "Your Honor, I am poor and ignorant. I cannot read or write or do math. I do not own an exact measuring tool. However, I do have an old-fashioned scale. The only method I have for weighing a pound of butter is by putting the pound of bread the baker gives me on the scale. This is how I measure the butter I sell." The courtroom was quiet as a mouse when the judge dismissed the charges. There's a verse in the Bible that teaches us if a man works diligently, if he works hard simply because he agreed to do the work, that man will find himself honored by kings. In other words, the true measure of a man's honesty, ethics, and reliability is manifested in how hard he works and the quality of his outcome. Today's Grain of Sugar puts it this way: nothing reflects integrity more than a man on trial for his work. Got a story about a time or two when your work and the integrity you manifested propelled you before kings? Like butter on a hot griddle, why don't you slide down in the comments and tell us about it? Get it? Butter, hot griddle, slide into the comments? Yeah, okay. On behalf of GOS Media, thanks for stopping by. If you enjoy our videos, then please like, subscribe, and share with others. If you want to support our work, then become a Colony member by joining us on Patreon or grab some merch from our website. Links are pinned below. Once again, thanks for tuning into Grains of Sugar. I've been your host, JL Smith.